Good morning everybody and welcome again. This is second video lecture in the series of operating system video lectures, and today we are going to see objectives as well as the features of functions of operating system. So let's start with the objectives of operating system. So what are the main objectives of operating system? Three important points that you should remember when it comes to objectives of operating system are: one is your operating system must be convenient, okay, your operating system must be efficient, and your operating system must have ability to evolve. We'll see the meaning of these three terms one by one. Your operating system must be convenient. What do you mean by this? Your operating system must be convenient. What do you mean by this? Second, your operating system must be efficient, and your operating system should have ability to evolve. Convenient in the sense, your OS should not bring in the complexity with respect to computations. So it should make the working environment simple and convenient. Okay, user must feel like using it, easy to use, simple to operate, and any service that is required while you are doing some computations on your computer must be available at your fingertips. So user must be at convenience when user is using the operating system, using the system. Whose role is this? To make the system work comfortably. Okay, the role goes to operating system. The role it is taken care of by operating system. The word efficient means it should function properly, it should function accurately, it should function in time. Okay, I click on program, I click on any application, maybe Windows Media Player. Once I click on it, it should open quickly. It should provide me a facility to select a file that I wish to run. Once I click on select the file, it should immediately start playing the file. I must be able to see smooth audio, video, and very audible audio. If this is not happening, suppose I am clicking on Windows Media Player application and it is taking time, 10 minutes to open, or when I select a file, it is taking lot of time to run, or when I try to run the file, it is creating a jigs effect. It creates a jigs effect. The sound is blurred. Video is not very clear to see. It is very slow. If such thing starts happening, then I will not call my system efficient. So first thing, as I said, convenient. Second is efficient, and third, it should have ability to evolve. What do you mean by this? Your system must be a general purpose system. It should not be catering specific application. It should be catering all applications in general. What do you mean by this? What do you expect from your computer? Your computer is supposed to be a general purpose machine. It cannot be a special purpose machine. Why it cannot be a special purpose machine? Because if your computer is a special purpose machine, then you won't be able to do multiple tasks. I do have a washing machine. This washing machine has got a circuit. This circuit is governed by some software, but this software is doing limited sets of operation: wash, dry, rinse. Is it possible I can listen to music? Is it possible I can watch video? Is it possible I can write programs? Is it possible I can browse internet? No. It is doing fixed set of tasks, special tasks. So my washing machine is a special purpose system. My computer is expected to be a general purpose machine. It should evolve, it should have ability to evolve. It must provide you all those facilities which user wants to, maybe browsing internet, maybe watching video, maybe listening to music, maybe any other task, maybe writing a program, etc. etc. So from programmer's point of view, your system should provide the environment so that user can write, compile, execute the program. So one example can be from the programmer's perspective, and the second example may be from end user's perspective, maybe a simple system user. I give you an example of media player. A simple user may be a user who generally uses the system to watch videos and to listen to music. Maybe there is one more user who is using the same system to write a program, application program. Okay. So whenever it comes to programming, your system should evolve, should provide all that environment where the programmer will write his program, compile and execute. Okay. Wherein when it comes to normal user, the system should provide efficient execution of Windows Media Player, smooth functioning of the application with clear audio, clear video. So overall, when it comes to objective, your operating system is expected to be convenient. Your operating system is expected to be efficient. Your operating system should have the ability to evolve so that it can anticipate the requirements of all different type of users of the system. That is about the objectives of the operating system. Now let's see what are the basic functions of operating system. So when it comes to basic functions of operating system, you must think of different roles that operating system is playing in your system. So let's see the basic functions of operating systems. Remember, when it comes to objective, you need to specify the convenience, the efficiency, as well as the ability of providing the facility, basic facility of computing to the user. We call it ability of evolving. So when it comes to functioning of operating system, okay, then we need to define what are the basic roles that your operating system plays for your system to work. Okay. So some of the basic roles are, okay, process management, resource management, IO management, memory management, user interface, and maybe security, system security. these are the objectives, these are the functions of your operating system, and let's discuss these one by one. To begin with, the process management. What is a process? So whenever you remember you want to use, suppose say Microsoft Word, again I am taking the same example, you click on program, you click on start program, you go to Microsoft Word, click on it, your program starts, right? What is happening in the background is also very important. Whenever you execute some program, what is happening in the background is processes gets formed. So program, what is process? Program under execution is a process. So when you go to start, when you click on program, when you select Microsoft Word, a Windows Microsoft Word application opens. And when this application opens, multiple processes take birth. Maybe one of the processes taking care of, changing the font. One of the processes taking care of changing the color. One of the processes taking care of checking the spelling. So in short, process is program under execution, and someone must be there to manage the operation of these processes. Okay, one application is executing, or I'll say one program is executing. Maybe there are multiple processes associated with that program. So someone has to manage those processes. Someone has to take care of execution of those processes. Every process will be having certain requirements. Okay. So the entire management of those processes which are getting formed once you try to execute any program is taken care by a unit called as process management. Got it? Second thing is resource management. Now, if you go by the literature meaning of the word resource, your computer is made up of multiple resources. One who executes your program is a processor. We call it a microprocessor. But microprocessor is not the only person who is doing this entire task. Microprocessor is supported by multiple resources. Microprocessor can execute a program only if multiple resources are made available. As I said, your computer works on stored program concept in the first video lecture. So that means what? Whenever processor wants to execute some program, that program must be fetched from memory, from secondary memory. So you need secondary memory, one of the resources, right? And then execute. Where the program is executed, it is executed in main memory. So a task of getting the program from secondary memory into primary memory is done. So there must be space available in primary memory. So second resource. Like this, management of resources becomes a very important task. See, it's not like yours is the only program that is running in the machine. There may be n number of programs running in the machine, and every program must be brought from secondary memory, must be loaded in primary memory. So every program says, I want some space in primary memory. And what if the space is not available? Program will not be able to execute. That is not fair. Care must be taken that all programs are given equal space and equal priority for execution. There should not be victimization. So there comes into picture that someone must be there to manage, which program to brought first in the memory, for how much time we should execute it. After first program is executed, which second program is to be brought in memory, where to place it, for how much time to execute it. This everything is taken care of by resource management. Third thing is I/O management. The name itself is, enough for you to understand. Input and output management. There must be someone who is taking care of taking the input from the input device and providing it to the processor as and when required. There must be someone who is collecting the output generated by your processor and divert it towards the output device, maybe a printer, maybe a plotter, maybe a monitor. Processor will collect the data, process it, generate the output. Now who is going to provide the data to processor? Input device. Once the results are generated, who is going to display those results to the external world? Output device. So processor important time cannot be wasted in doing this operation. So there must be someone who is doing this task on behalf of processor. So that comes into picture, the I/O management. Memory management. As I said, the process management, which process is to be brought in memory, for how long it is to be executed, which process is to be given highest priority, which process is given the next priority. This all, as I said, is taken care of by process management. The memory requirement aspect is taken care of by memory management. The memory requirement aspect is taken care of by memory management, so that no process gets victimized because of unavailability of the memory. So the memory management. Then comes into picture security and protection. Yes? See, if your system do not have login and password, then you know what will happen. Anybody will log in and he may delete your important file, he may copy your important file, and all wrong things will happen. So this login and password provides security to data which is there in your system. Security in all sense. Even maybe you and your brother, you both are using the same system, and the system has got two users. One user is admin itself and the other user is a normal user. Suppose you don't want to give much privileges to your younger brother, you decided, okay, he'll be able to do certain tasks and he'll be deprived from using certain applications. So as an admin you can plan this. Okay, you can plan this. So that your younger brother, although he logs in your system, he'll get access to only limited thing. So that is what is security. What about the protection? Protection against what? Protection against different viruses. These viruses enter your system through different, routes. The basic route is internet. You browse and, sometimes there are Trojans, sometimes the backdoor and different type of viruses. They enter your system and they start, making duplicates of the files so that they will flood your memory. They will start deleting certain important system files so that your system will get corrupt. Once it gets corrupt, it will not function properly. So your system should provide a security as well as protection. There should be an antivirus protection available. So all these features take care of security and protection so that your system will be in good working condition. Your data will be secured. Nobody will be able to, copy it, delete it without your permission. So that is taken care of by security and protection module. Then comes into picture user interface. Yes, of course. In early 80s, early 90s, okay, and even you know, from 2000 2005, in those days, people used to prefer only Microsoft Windows. Today also many people are comfortable only with Microsoft Windows. The reason is simple to use and understand graphical user interface. Today also people hesitate using Linux, but let me tell you, Linux is one of the best operating systems. Today the GUI provided by Linux is better, sometimes I feel, than what Windows operating system provides, because all those facilities are available. You know, earlier days, when people used to connect the external device to machine, Linux will demand mounting of that device, where Windows will auto mount the device. So the headache of remembering those commands is well taken care of by Windows in earlier days. So obviously people's choice was Windows operating system, although it was, I mean, it is licensed, people used to go for Windows operating system. So something that gives less burden to your brain, okay, I need not remember any command. There is a user interface, click and go. So anybody will prefer such type of, you know, system. So that's what is the importance, and that is taken care by your GUI module, user interface module. And last but not the least, the file management module. The role of this module is arrangement of your file in memory. To be very precise, I'll be giving a very simple example. How you arrange your stuff in your house, your clothes. There will be a cupboard, okay. So maybe there are two cupboards. One cupboard is used by your parent, one cupboard is given to you and your younger brother or sister. So once you open that cupboard, you will again bifurcate, okay, upper two drawers to be used by me, lower two drawers are to be given to my younger brother. Then again in those two drawers I will segregate, okay, some important, clothes which I should wear for functions and all, I will keep it somewhere else. Daily use wears, I will keep it. So nice segregation is done, right? Why this arrangement? Why this arrangement? This arrangement aims in getting the things faster. If you go in library, if you want to search for some book, your librarian will never tell you, okay, this is the room, there are 20 cupboards, I don't know in which cupboard the book is, you have to search. You will screw yourself. Everything is arranged in a nice chronological order so that accessing of that information becomes easy. See, you got to save your processor's time. Processor is executing something important and processors want data. Now, to get this data from memory, it should be arranged properly. If I want to get this data quickly from memory, the data must be arranged. If the data is arranged, I know the exact address, I will go to that address only, I will pick up the data, I will provide it to processor, processor's time is not wasted. So someone should take care of storing this data in such a way that accessing the information from that same location becomes easy. And this entire thing is taken care of. This entire thing is taken care of the file management model. So you will have a drive, then there will be a folder in a drive, and all the files will go in that folder. And of course, naming conventions. These files, these folders, these drives will be named, will be given meaningful names, so maybe you will be able to access a particular file, okay, within no time. So when you save time, when you save this access time, you improve the efficiency of the system. You get faster execution of the programs, and this decent arrangement is taken care of by file management. So these are the objectives of your operating system. So to brief, your operating system looks after the process management, your operating looks after the resources, your operating system looks after taking of input and giving output, your operating system looks after the management of memory so that nobody is victimized, everybody is getting memory whenever required. Your operating system is capable enough to secure your data and provide protection against the external attacks. Your operating system must be simple to use, easy to understand. Your operating system must have ability to arrange your data chronologically so that it can be accessed within no time. That is all about the objectives of the operating system. So today we saw, that is all about the features, functions of the operating system. And that is all about today's video lecture. So today we have seen the objectives of the operating system followed by the functions of the operating system. Thank you and good day.